Good morning, Jags. This is Fahad. Today is Thursday, August 20th. Let's get started. Palo Alto Network, the one that I covered in depth with the bullish view in webinar on Tuesday, and I mentioned that on a technical basis, this is starting to break out from a long-term weekly formation, and you can see that this is the 5-year chart in front of you. It broke out through 250 and it now just continues to make higher highs and higher lows. And also at the same time, we mentioned on Tuesday that there was an unusually large and out of money bullish bet going into earnings that are coming up, which was in the September 300 strike call options where over 3,500 contracts were bought to open, which is now reflected in the open interest, with the stock at 265 at the time, and now the stock is at 269. So somebody with over $1 million bullish bet is betting that after earning, this thing could trade north of $300 per share. Well, this morning, if you look at today's first read, you will see that Citigroup is raising price target in Palo Alto Network from 265 to 315. This is all ahead of earnings that's coming up. Let me just check. I think that earnings are in just the next couple of days. But anyways, in this particular case, they're saying that while the shares are up over 20% in 3 months, they do not fear of the elevated expectations going into earnings. They actually believe that there's significant controversy still rules in security, generally speaking, and they believe that there's going to be continued stabilization in the core business, and the upside is relatively implied in the product revenue side of the things. Now, I mentioned that one of the things that has happened in the easiest, simplest term is that the overall the cybersecurity spending, particularly those kind of cybersecurity stocks that provide the key firewall protection for networks, have seen a surge during COVID shutdown period, because as people are working from home and they're buying more and more hardware, those are the ones that are going to potentially benefit from at the most. And Palo Alto Network is the biggest provider of the firewall protection. So I believe that you are going to see a pretty strong quarter from the company. It reports next week on August 24th after market close. And so keep an eye on this one. Let's see if this thing is going to pop even more today after this note from Citigroup. If I look at the pre-market action, it's not doing much. It's pretty much flat in pre-market. But let's see after the market opens if this thing is going to suddenly pop and is going to trade maybe up to 275 or even $280 per share. So keep an eye on this stock. Next one, real quick, is Pluralsight, PS. Now, yesterday, one of the clients, this is the name that we currently own, both common and call options. We have presented a big bullish case on this one already. Everybody knows about it. An update on this one on Pluralsight. Yesterday there was a client that was asking, whether we are still bullish on this. Should we continue to hold our call options? And I suggested yes, continue to hold call options, because I expect a breakout through $22.50. You can also go to Spotify and listen to my podcast with the bull case on Pluralsight from a couple of weeks ago. Now, I want to mention that there is an interesting news out today that is worthy of an attention, which is, and I wonder how big this could be actually, which is Pluralsight has signed up United States Air Force as a new customer. United States Air Force is going to be using Pluralsight Digital U Development Program. It's going to be supporting United States Air Force Digital U, or University Development Program. And apparently this could be significant in many different ways, because if you think about how the size of this contract, which was not disclosed, but may have material implications. I'm trying to pull up the press release on my side, but I can cover this in more detail in chat room later today as well. This company will be providing to the entire department. We are talking millions of personnel over there, from the lower tier divisions all the way to the soldiers, and not exactly sure how comprehensive it's going to be and how quickly it's going to go into effect and what kind of revenue generation will happen from here. But just knowing the size of the opportunity, this could be actually material. Reading the press release over here, it says that tomorrow's battlefield is increasingly dependent on technology, and the USAF is focusing on investing in our global airmen to ensure that they have ability to build the technical competence needed to complete our mission. And with Pluralsight Air Force Digital U participants have access to more than 7,000 technology courses taught by top experts in the field, such as machine learning and AI, cloud computing, cybersecurity, and software development. This partnership will give airmen across the service, including those working within high-profile Air Force technology labs and projects, including, and then there's a bunch of names listed here, the ability to accelerate their skill development in the latest technologies. Seems pretty comprehensive to me. State-of-the-art technology, 100% digital, and comprehensive program. So now this too, stock is not moving much in pre-market. If you look at it, it's rather flat, right? But this is a setup for a technical breakout. If this takes out 2250, we're going to have a breakout. And reminder, on the long-term weekly scale, I mentioned this a couple times, this is where the fun begins, because look at this major VOP resistance level. And there's a big air pocket above this. Once it starts to take out 2250, you can see there's, on the weekly scale, there's nothing here all the way up to nearly $30 per share. And that's why I believe that this is one of those coiled stock that once it takes off, it's going to pop hard. I don't know if it's going to be today or tomorrow or when, but I continue to remain very, very bullish on this name. That's it from me. Jay?
Morning, everyone. Today, I wanted to just take a look at a recent IPO that debuted at the end of July, a company called Goedeker. The symbol is GOED. This is a one-stop e-commerce destination for home furnishings, such as appliances, furniture, home goods. They are headquartered in St. Louis, and they do have a showroom there, but over 90% of their sales are placed through their website. Now, according to their S1 filing, they purchased their inventory only after a sale has been made through their website, which obviously is going to help them manage their inventory and their warehouse space. Also, according to their S1, the appliance category is without question their largest revenue source. In 2019, sales of appliances accounted for approximately 80% of total revenue. And, you know, they're going to be offering the top appliance brands, Whirlpool, Maytag, LG, so on and so forth. And within the appliances, you have your refrigerators, ranges, ovens, microwaves, washer dryers. Now, the company did actually report their earnings this morning, so I haven't gotten a chance to really look at the press release, and their conference call won't be taking place until after the close today. But you know, I'll definitely be reading over the transcript when that becomes available. But just looking at some of the press release facts, business highlights included site sessions were up 105% year over year. Looks like orders in the quarter reached 29.9 million, which was up 15.6 million year over year. So needless to say, this name caught my attention, and I'll be digging a little bit more into it, especially once the conference call is over tonight.
Always find some exciting stuff that I've never heard of. And this is interesting because as you were talking, I was looking indeed at the earnings report that came out this morning. The company posted $15.3 million in revenues versus last year of 11.5 million. So the revenue growth is 33% year over year. this seems to be, from what I understand, looking at quick S1 filing, a sharp acceleration from the prior quarter. It appears that for the 3 months ended in March, the quarter revenues was actually down 19% year over year. So they went from posting a decline of 19% in the first quarter to an increase of 33% year over year in the second quarter. Very, very small company, only 53, am I reading this right? Only $53 million in market cap. It seems to be a very small company, and the stock is indeed guided higher. At 950 is the bid after closing at 913. This is one of those kind of names that it could just pop big time, right? If it is such a small company, and with the kind of beat and all of those, doesn't look like it has a lot of analyst coverage either. So, you know, whatever else you find, and looking forward to any further more thorough research. Should be an interesting one. I'll be on the lookout for sure. That's the kind of stuff that gets me excited. Something that has not been discovered, but has the potential to run strong and hard. Like, for example, remember this GR? I keep looking at this stock, GRWG. Look at the chart. That's just crazy. Anyways, Chronicle.
Good morning. Just wanted to bring to attention this morning DADA Nexus, symbol DADA. This is the next company we'll be presenting for JaguarMedia, aiming to have that up next week. But I'm mentioning this today because the stock broke out of consolidation and retested support yesterday. So it's worth watching, even though we're still working on the presentation. This was a recent IPO, and it's not a very well-known stock. But basically, if you like JD.com, you're going to love this company. This is a logistics company that operates as a JD subsidiary called JD Daojia. And they also operate last mile and city-to-city fulfillment for JD and Walmart and Yonghui, among other large retailers. So naturally, that means the company is involved in a lot of fresh food and produce delivery. And their network spans all the lower tier cities as well, where the biggest growth is taking place. Currently, they serve about 2,500 cities across China. And if we recall our Pinduoduo presentation, food delivery, especially straight from the farms, that's become a fast-growing industry. And this company, DADA Nexus, over the last couple of years, because of JD's backing and massive orders, they've managed to scale up very quickly and beat out a lot of their competition. In fact, a lot of the small and medium companies have gone bankrupt because of the competition, as well as all the problems from the pandemic, which has resulted in DADA becoming the biggest player in China for grocery and fresh food delivery as of the end of 2019. And so they have the advantage here, especially when it comes to last mile. And the other big business for DADA is that they deliver parcels for JD.com. And so if JD sees growth, so will this company. Again, this was just a recent IPO, but this upcoming JaguarMedia presentation is going to have more of a long-term view. And we're also going to cover in detail about what's going on in the Chinese logistics industry right now. Last thing is the company reports on Monday. It's going to be their first earnings following the IPO. And given how JD reported blowout earnings earlier this week, I would be extremely surprised if DADA doesn't report strong growth. I mean, if we look at the JD call transcript, JD management said that fresh produce became the single largest product category of revenue in the first half of the year, seeing 140% year-over-year growth, and they're expecting this to continue. And DADA is a company that fulfills fresh produce for JD, and so logically, I don't see how the company reports bad numbers unless JD is lying. They are a loss-making company, DADA, just because of all their efforts in scaling up and growing, but their net losses have been getting smaller and are trending in the right direction. That's all I'm going to say. So if anyone wants to know more about the company, and if they want to get a more detailed picture of China's logistics industry, that video will be up next week. This is one of those obscure high beta names no one's talking about. So just bringing this up today in case anyone wants to take a chance on this and then watch the video later when it comes up.
So that will be episode 4 of the Chinese Tech Demystified. Looking forward to doing that presentation with you as well, Chronicle. and the article and everything. So interesting stuff. Quick question though, do you know what percentage they depend on JD.com? How much are they relying just on that for the total revenues?
So JD and Walmart make up more than 50% of revenue, and from their S1 filing, I gather that JD is more than a third, somewhere around 35%.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. By the way, did you guys see the price action in GAN Limited in pre-market? It is also covered in first read in case I'm sure the clients will notice this when they get the first read this morning. But right over here, this could also be a big one. The stock is popping by about 5 to 6% in pre-market after they announced the launch of My Choice Social's casino app for PENN Interactive. This is the popular, everyone is talking about this particular casino, PENN National Gaming, right? So this is the PENN Interactive is a subsidiary of PENN National, and this is the same company that has signed off with the with Barstool to launch its iGaming across the country in coming months. Supposedly, beginning from October, we're going to see some sort of release from PENN National. So it appears to me that that technology will also be powered by GAN Limited software, which is becoming a core for so many other regional and national casinos that are continuing to enter into this space. This seems like a big one too, because PENN National is pretty big. So naturally the stock is popping sharply on this in pre-market, now above $26 per share after closing at $24.46 yesterday. This is also the major VOP resistance level, so keep that in mind. I mentioned this a couple days ago in the chat room as well, that I really liked how the volume lifted higher sharply as the stock lifted higher off the base from $20 and is now attacking this major VOP resistance level on high volume with the MACD and the RSI bull crosses. Well, now in pre-market, it's going to take out that resistance. It's already taking it out. So let's see how high this could fly. That's again limited. This is, I know, for all of us, particularly for Chronicle, it is a top. It's one of our favorite names to play the theme. Anything more to add to this Chronicle, or just that piece of news that now that we're all familiar with?
I didn't see any incremental news on that.
All right, good stuff. All right, we're going to stop over here. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We'll see you in the chat room shortly.